y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, then that means this is probably your first time watching one of my videos. So that means you need to go hit the subscribe button right below, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon so that you get a notification every time I post. Yay! Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is how to make an A in college. Because college can be really hard. And so who wouldn't want some tips from someone who's been going to college for a while on how to make good grades? So I am going to be giving you my tips and my secret to making A's on my tests. So if you want to know how to make some good grades and be super awesome like me, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, if you want to know how to make some good grades, you're curious about what my secret is,
then keep watching.
I do want to make it clear on what kind of student I am. So when it comes to an average class, not too hard, not too easy, I'm a natural B student if I don't study and don't really try. So if I don't really study, don't put much work into the class, I'm probably going to make a B. If I do try, then I'll probably make an A. But when it comes to a hard class, if I don't try, then I'm probably gonna make a C. If I do try, then I'm gonna teeter-totter between how hard I try, an A and a B. I'm also a visual learner and a very hands-on learner. So if you are a visual learner and a hands-on learner, then this is probably gonna help you a lot. Yay! So what is my secret? My secret is, wait for it, flashcards. I know, right? Like you haven't ever heard this before, but in all seriousness, y'all, flashcards have saved not only my life, my GPA, 3.8. I have a 3.8 GPA. I would give most of that credit to flashcards. I know, right? Flashcards. I don't do the regular flashcards you're thinking of. I don't buy flashcards and write on the front, write on the back, and study that. For a few reasons. Number one, my hand would cramp a lot if I did that. No. Number two, I don't like writing anyways. Number three, that would take a lot of time. Number four, I have access to technology, so why not use it? I've been using my iPad to study ever since my freshman year, and I downloaded the Chegg app.
Okay guys, so I'm going to show you just a little bit about how the Chegg app works. So we're just going to open it up. As you can see up here at the top, we're going to create a deck. So that's how you start a new deck of cards. So we're just going to name this YouTube. YouTube. Okay. And then you're going to hit create over here. So now we've created this deck. You're going to create your flashcards. As you can see, this is front and this is back. So you can add pictures, everything like that. Now you notice how I have my iPad laying this way. The reason I do this is because I can basically type my flashcards. And it's just so much faster than writing everything by hand. So if you want to add another card, you'll come over here and click that little add. You can add as many cards as you need to. And then once you're done, you'll click done.
So now that you know how Chegg flashcards work, I am going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to use Chegg or any kind of flashcard app in order to make an A on a test. So let's dive in. So my first and one of the most important steps to actually making a good grade is you have to know what material is going to be on the test. That requires you actually going to class. First of all, number one tip, go to class. Just do it. Just go to class. Just go to class. If what's going to be on the test is your book, then you need to read the book. Shocking, right? Like we actually have to read. I know it sucks, but read the book. Highlight the most important topics in there, whether it's like theories or definitions, ideas, things like that. Hey, this might be on the test. Highlight it. And that's what you're going to make flashcards over. So you need to know what to study in order to make a good grade. So that's my first tip. My second tip is make flashcards over that material. So whenever you're making flashcards, say you're going over a theory and there's 3 parts to that theory. So I'm going to make a flashcard over the overall theory, right? What that theory is about. Then I'm going to ask myself, what are the 3 parts to that theory? And then I'm going to list those 3 theories. And then I'm going to go over each part of that theory and what that's about. Does that make sense? That way you really understand the material. If you know all the bones, if you know the whole skeleton of the material, then you can piece everything together. I usually do this 4 or 3 days before the test, just so that you have time to study and you don't feel stressed and you don't feel overwhelmed. And if you want good grades, you're going to have to put in some work. But I'm telling you, this is the minimal work you can put in and actually receive a lot out of it. My 3rd step is to actually study the flashcards a few times a day. The farther out you make them from the test day, the less you need to study each day. But if you're like, sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I will wait until 2 days before the test. That means I'm going to study probably 6 times a day. And most of the time it comes out to around 60, 80 flashcards. So it's not that much to study. It'll literally take you 10 to 15 minutes to study them really quick. Also, I have heard this piece of advice. I don't know if it's true because I don't know exactly how the human brain works. But I heard somewhere in my lifespan of 21 years, you actually store all of the information that you've taken in throughout the day when you sleep. That's when your brain does all the storing and stuff like that. So it's really good to study before you go to sleep. And then I like to study whenever I wake up to refresh myself. And I found that has worked amazing for me. Even if I go to take a nap throughout the day, like say I just made the flashcards and I'm so tired, go through them really quick before you take a nap and then go over them whenever you wake up. It's mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
My last tip is to have someone quiz you with the flashcards. So make them quiz you. Make them ask you whatever's on the front of the flashcard and you answer whatever's on the back. It doesn't even have to be someone that knows this material. It can be your mom, it can be your grandpa, your grandma, your boyfriend, your friend, your roommate. They don't have to know what's going on. As long as you're just repeating what's on the back, then it's cool. And it helps a lot. Someone quizzing you and you actually answering and replying back, it is going to also help a lot. So my 4th step is to make sure that you study the morning before your test. So if your test is on Friday at noon, make sure you wake up by 9 or 10, study as soon as you wake up, like I said, and then you're also going to study walking to class. Whether you have to drive and then you walk to class, whatever. While you're walking to class, on your way to class, go ahead and study the flashcards one more time. Really hit hard on the ones you don't really know as well, and really focus on those, because if you know a lot of them by the back of your hand, focus on studying the ones you don't know as much the last night before the test. And that's when you're really going to start working on that. My 5th step, and this is one of the most important steps, do not study once you walk into the classroom. If you walk into the classroom and you have 5 minutes before class starts, do not study. You're going to see a bunch of people cramming it in. This is your time to breathe. You just studied walking to class. It's now your time to let your brain just stop working for a second and chill, because it's about to work really hard. Don't study while you're waiting for the test to start. Just chill. I always had a professor tell me, if you don't know it now, you ain't going to know it on the test. Because, really, what are you going to teach yourself within the 5 minutes before the test starts? Like, if you don't know it, then you're not going to know it on the test. And then my last step is to make an A on the test. Yay! Balloon popping, confetti flying. I hope this video was enlightening. I hope it helped you. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you'll get an A on your first test. If this video is helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share, let your friends know, everything like that. Don't forget to subscribe. And if y'all have any questions or any tips of your own, please don't forget to comment them down below, because I love learning new things. Other than that, I'll see you next time.